Hello everybody, today I'm going to try to redo a lesson I did yesterday with really bad lighting conditions and a much longer explanation than needed, so let's get right to it. Once again, thank you for coming to Mind's Eye Visual Guitar Methods, and as the title suggests today, what we're doing is a two-part series, one on minor chords, one on major chords. We're starting with minor chords, and it's about getting a melody, a modal melody, very easily with your minor chord. Something you can either play the minor chord and sing along, sing a melody and know which melody you're in, or choose the melody you want just by a very simple pattern here I'm going to show you. So I'm going to get right to it. Instead of showing you how we get there the long way, I'm just going to show you exactly what it is for the people that already kind of know what's going on, and then I'll explain it for the people that are confused when they see it. So that being said, what we have here is a picture of a guitar fretboard, like this guitar fretboard, and a minor chord. So it's basically fretted from the 5th string. We're looking at it from the top down. A 5th string, standard bar chord, minor chord. I suggest getting familiar with other fingerings, but this pattern works off of this particular fingering. So, and by other fingerings, I mean other inversions of a minor chord, which sound prettier than just a standard minor chord. But this chord, as you know, is called in the cage system, this would be the A, as it gets its name from the A minor variety, which is the open A minor chord. Same shape, just with a barred root. And we're up on the G string in our diagram here. So here is how it will sound. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you guys won't be able to really see me fret the chord, but oh my god. It's a little easier to fret down here at the C. So you guys know what a minor chord sounds like. Now, what if I wanted to make a melody out of that? I might want to, I might sing a line that says, and wonder, all right, well, cool, but what was that? Well, that was natural minor. Whatever my lyrics were. But maybe I want something a little happier on this, a little more lighter bluesy, so, well, oh, sorry, wrong, if that sounded like shit, that's because I played the wrong note. Here we go again. You know, or even maybe your vocal range is down there. You're gonna sing la da 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 la 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 na 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 na. Na, 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 na. You got the makings of Dorian. Let's say I wanted to go with Phrygian. Na, 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 na. Maybe your keyboard is going to do a line or something, but you could know very simply. And so what was I using to do that? I was using a square shape that comes from the pentatonic scale, and here it is here. So as you can see here, let me get a little pen to point with here. Okay. Here we have the chord shape anywhere on the guitar fretboard. So notice this big box here of 4 notes across, 2 strings adjacent to each other. This comes from the bottom of the pentatonic box, and the bottom of a pentatonic box that adds in 2 notes on the right side of the empty, what would be in the pentatonic, these notes would not be played. If you had these 2 notes here, and it becomes the Dorian box. Well, I'll show you that in a little bit, but let's just avoid confusion and just give it a name, Dorian. And that's going to have a lighter sound than Aeolian. So play that, the bottom of that shape off of your chord, and you will get the Dorian mode. It comes from right there. And I'll show you how exactly, how that works, but it's guaranteed. Those notes would be Dorian. And if you say, well, okay, Mark, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. Where's the 7th note? That's over here or over here. You can use either one if you want. In this case, let's see, if this was a D, that would be the G, right? I think, right? I could be wrong. Anyways, yeah, that would be the G. Okay, anyways, so yeah, or the 5th note in the scale. And as you can see here, also, you can also play the same thing from the root of the chord. Like, let me start here. The intervals of this chord are 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, or flat third and 5th. So you've got your 1, your 5, and your flat third, creating a minor triad. So you have since you have the same root here and here, you can use the same shape structure there or there. And of course, that's following the octave pattern on the guitar, so that's the exact same square of notes as that. Pretty cool, huh? So, just an octave difference. Let's say you wanted Aeolian, and so you can copy this down. I wrote Dorian here, and I showed you, well, that's too light to see, but you've got kind of like a happier sad, a standard sad, and more of a getting a little bit angrier sad, I guess. Or just I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to give an emotional name to, but it's a little darker than the standard Aeolian, the natural minor, and Dorian is a little lighter. And that's why this is listed as the natural minor, because it's the neutral scale. It's the one that falls in the middle. Okay, so Aeolian is the same exact shape as the bottom of an Aeolian scale, which you can punch out of a pentatonic scale by adding in 2 notes. It's always 2 notes in this gut note area. 2 gut notes in the blank area. So in this one, it's the balance scale. It's got 1 on each side. So Dorian is a little bit to the right, and Phrygian is a little bit to the left. So anyways, here you got this shape here, and it's the same up here. It's very light. It's not shaded just to kind of avoid confusion, and I only used X's, but you can see the same shape there. Same pattern, same thing. Depends on your vocal range, what you're singing. So, and then Phrygian is the Phrygian shape of the scale. It just basically mounts off right there. And also is up here. And now that you have your navigation box in place, notice the navigation box, when it's Aeolian, you might say, uh-oh, where's the box? It's broken. But these 2 bits here are basically the bottom and top of one of those navigation boxes. So you can find your way through the rest of the scale if you know my way to navigate the entire fretboard using that simple box logic. It's very simple. Look for one of those lessons on my page. I've got a few of them. So basically that's it. It's that easy. There's not much more to say about it. But how did we get here? Let's go over. So here's the pentatonic box I'm referring to, that standard box shape. Let's hear it. 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4. Trying to get you guys in view there. I can't reach my pinky there. So anyways, you guys know that pentatonic shape. And here's what I mean. The pentatonic forms this kind of area here. It's kind of blank. It's 5 notes. It's missing 2 notes of a 7-note do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do major scale. So, to create Dorian, and see, I've got them all listed here in the same way. Aeolian is in the middle. Phrygian is a little bit on the heavier side, and Dorian is a little bit on the lighter side, or darker for Phrygian and lighter for Dorian. So kind of like light at the end of the tunnel is what I always say. Kind of sad, but anyways, you can see here how it where the notes basically the one thing we should know is there's 2 parts to a pentatonic scale. There's this part and this part. They keep repeating. So, in light of that, we can see here how we're just using that piece right there. They'll both get the same 2 notes added to them. So, in a kind of a geometric way. In Dorian's case, let's talk about the empty box here and say that we're filled in to the right. And on our 6-note box here, we're filled into the left. Let's look at Phrygian, how it's the exact geometric opposite. It's filled into the left, and it's filled into the right on this side, and where this one is on the bottom, this one is on the top. So it's like an exact mirror image of each other, which I always just find fascinating. In balanced Aeolian scale, check out how it's balanced. It has 1 on each side, and 1 on each side here. Yeah, it's 1 at the bottom and 1 all the way at the top. Kind of like a bit of Dorian and a bit of Phrygian and a bit of both here. Just in case you wondered, I said, there's one more option here. You could have this and this filled out, these 2 blank squares. You could have this, basically these opposite. If you put these opposite and you put these down in the on the center there on each side, I believe you get the melodic minor scale, but I could be wrong there by 1 note. But anyways, not something we're dealing with today. All we're dealing with is the standard minor from the 3 minor chords of the major scale. And in the next video, we'll show you it's nearly the same exact thing. You just put this box in a different area for the major chord. You might be even able to fill that out for yourself. And just as a last kind of thing here, this is a little bit confusing and not so easy to see, but you've got a pentatonic shape there, a pentatonic shape there, and another overlapping pentatonic shape there. Aeolian stands on its own. Dorian and Phrygian are kind of interlocked. And they make that bottom square, so that square and that square are essentially the same. And these squares follow a rule of going at an angle here. This is my a bit of my fretboard navigation teaching. So once you've got a square here, you've got the same square here. That's what we were talking about, where when you were playing the chord, if that's too high in your vocal range, you can move the same thing down here. Follows the octave there. But once you know where a square is, the next square is always in this angle here. It always connects at that corner, unless you're jumping the B string gap there where the strings shift up this way. So same thing here. You can, once you're here, you can say as is above, so is below. Find half the box there. Then you find the box on different set of strings here, where this is the outside, middle, and outside strings. This is just the E string, then the middle 2, then the other middle 2. If that makes kind of any sense. Probably a better way to explain that. What 5th and 4th strings, and 3rd and 2nd string. And because you're bridging the gap there, you've got your broken box, which is the same as we're basically, it gets you back into Aeolian again. So basically that bottom, this little square right here, is that right there. And I think that does it in much better lighting and much quicker explanation than my last explanation. So just as some tidbits here, you could Also, if you're still confused, if you haven't learned any of these things yet, you could write a list like this. Right in this column, I have do, re, mi, fa. I'm not sure how well you can see this because in my camera here, it's off a bit. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Then you've got, if you hear like the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, you can see how those line up. The 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord. And then you can also, the 1 chord is Ionian, the 2 chord is Dorian, 3 chord P for Phrygian, L for Lydian, M for Mixolydian, A for Aeolian, and LX for Locrian, which we don't deal with very much because that is the diminished chord, which comes up in different subjects. So that might help. And then down here you can see this square box is part of a core structure that we've talked about. And in this, you can always put notes in here to help you always place this properly on your fretboard. So I've done 2 things here. One, I've given it the intervals structure. So 1, 2, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Basically, if I can consider this is my root, my chord, then I'm playing off the 1, the Ionian. If I consider this 3, my root and my chord, the root of my scale and the root of my chord, then I'm clearly indicating the 3. The 3 is Phrygian. So what I've done here, aside from putting, and the numbers stay the same. This one is, well, this will always be the 1. This will always be the 3. This is your structure of your major scale. Now what I've done here is I've done green for major and blue for minor. So you can kind of see easy geometry on how your major chords and your minor chords stack up. The only outliers would be the 2 that repeats here. So you got a minor chord there, and the 7 that's there. Once again, that diminished chord from Locrian. And then the same thing here. I used the green for major, blue for minor, but I listed them as their modal names. So you're playing your Ionian, you're playing a Lydian, if that's your root, and you have a major chord. M, it's a green, it's a major chord, and it's Mixolydian. M for Mixolydian. D is blue, it's a minor chord. D for Dorian. D for Dorian. I find it handier to use that root in major and minor. So you might want to copy that down. I'll leave that there for a few minutes so you can pause it. And that's where this came from. So now notice, once again, that in our minor chord, we have the important thing is we have a root note right there. So we used our root is on, let's go back to our other picture there. See, where that bottom corner, where's that root? That was right here. D for Dorian. So that's why that will give you a Dorian. What changes? It's basically the fact that you're playing the note there instead of the note there. So on and on here, you can see here, we've got our note here. Now that's not in the square, but as you can see here, well, actually only Phrygian is in the square. That one is up top here. See, Phrygian and Dorian are easy because they're on the bottom, so they just shift over, but the 6 here is on the top, so that creates the the balanced pattern here, which incidentally, if you just go from the root note of your chord at the top, you can use that Dorian shape again and get the Aeolian sound by using the Dorian shape, because your root note is on the 6th of the scale, not on the 2nd note of the scale. Does that make sense? See, this is on the 2nd note of the scale. 2nd note of the scale. Okay. So, so if you look closely, this is using the 6th and 5th string, the low E and A string, where this is using the A string and D string to create that Dorian box shape. And then Lastly, Phrygian there. Our box goes Locrian, Ionian, Phrygian, Lydian. So there's our Phrygian, and it creates that shape. So I'll play a little bit for you, and then we'll go from there. We've got one last thing, and that was Phrygian. What I was thinking as I was playing, one last thing I noticed while I was playing is that in theory, if you want to make, if one shape is easier than learning three, for me it was very easy to just, because I equate these with the different pentatonic minor scales, turning the pentatonics into their representative minor scales. It's easy for me to use these three shapes, but if you just wanted to use the Dorian shape, off of Dorian it's here, off of Phrygian you just start it, you see the block shape there, so basically you just move it down. So these would be your two notes there and there, and then for, like we said with Aeolian, you would just move it up you would take the Phrygian shape and move it up a string set. If that makes any sense. I think it does. If you guys map this out on your own set of graph paper, it will. Here's Dorian. The ice cream truck just went by. The ice cream truck just went by. Something like that. Alright, I'm going to leave you with that bit of comedy and nonsense, and hope you guys have a good day. And this is a little bit easier to follow than yesterday's version of the same lesson. Alright, enjoy. Have a good day.